This nibble originally aired on RSBANDB Update, episode 846, Pandora's Skilling Bundle. Enjoy. We are, of course, talking about old school RuneScape, and, you know, we don't talk about this that often on the show because it's not a game that we play, but this is something that definitely drew my attention because, as it turns out, you know, there's actually an ecosystem of third-party clients for old school RuneScape, which Jagex have not shut down completely, and they've had a very interesting working relationship with them. And with that, this week, it turns out that RuneLite, one of the biggest third-party clients, put out a HD version of old school RuneScape through a plugin. And as a result of that, Jagex shot it down and wanted to shut down that entire project with this. And they say that the reason for this is that they are actually working on a similar project in-house, though early is very much in progress. Naturally, this means that any fan-led project which seeks to change the way old school RuneScape looks is going to be at odds with their own plans. And following from that, they had to release an update to this statement because they clarified their stance that it wouldn't be going forward. And, you know, the entire community revolted, and this was the other thing that people thought the reason that the Leeds Q&A was being canceled for was because the chat would get completely drowned out by the folks who play old school and who were upset with this decision. But the supplemental...
Not wrong.
Yeah, because, I mean, it even percolated over into the RS3 subreddit, dare I say. They say, we hear your feedback loud and clear, and we've been discussing that feedback all day, and we absolutely intend to act on it. The conversations have also included 117scape and Adam from RuneLite, two of the developers, and they're actively exploring options on how they can work together to offer 117scape's plugin as a bridge until our own version is ready for release. Now, they say, we perfectly understand that you all have a voice in old school, and that voice at times can be one of frustration regarding the decisions we make. Be assured, though, that we welcome your feedback, whether good or bad, and we don't always get it right. We are always humans, and now we are rectifying our approach. That said, we have also seen unacceptable levels of abuse towards individual staff members on social media in the last 24 hours, which we will not tolerate. The team is filled to the brim with people of passion, and please try to remember that behind the crowns there are real people trying to do their best for the game and its community. We know we need to do better in providing a clearer vision for our client, which is why we made this decision yesterday and what this means to the game and community in the longer term, and we will start to do this over the coming days. Okay, so a lot to unpack. Third-party developer makes RuneScape HD for old school. Jagex shuts it down. It draws the attention of PC Gamer magazine with an article posted there. 117scape, the mod author, says they have dedicated over 2,000 hours in the last 2 years to make RuneLite HD. 2,000 hours.
Well, why would you do that?
Right, and my response to this is that if you are this dedicated to RuneScape through this client, why haven't you sought to apply there for a job yet? That's my question. Why not work internally and do what you're doing? Because you know they're going to eventually go this direction. Mm-hmm. I think the best thing that would come from this is if the mod author got hired on to the old school team. Because Jagex says that their version of HD is still in very early exploration stages, and we need to be clear that a mod on top of a client is not the same thing as doing OSRS HD. Oh. So that's something that we also need to be clear about. But the PC Gamer article was written at the time when 117 still was not having positive dialogue with Jagex. That seems to have changed now based on the statement. And 117 even said that they offered Jagex a compromise, and there's a key word there, compromise. You really don't want to offer compromises to companies. It needs to be a collaborative effort, not, offering compromises in the form of removing their product once Jagex released theirs and giving Jagex, quote, collaborative control over RuneLite HD's visual style. Now, I appreciate the time that people put into something like this. Obviously, we've put in a similar amount of time to this podcast and whatnot. But at the same time, you can't just expect, I think, to completely change the visual style of a game. And as a result of that, I think it needs to be collaborative rather than offering compromise with this going forward. So I'm eager to see where this goes in the coming weeks. What do you think on this?
Well, at first I thought Jagex said F around and find out, and that's kind of what happened. But the more I think about it, the more I wonder, and I can't help but to think, what if this was a client that had a text-to-speech functionality or something like that? How would I feel about it then? And then it gets a little bit murkier, I think, for me.
And the client is open source, so in theory you could, hire a developer, Tanis, and have that added to it and make old school more accessible than RS3 for you.
Right? So I mean, I actually think that the outcome of maybe, if not a job, I would say maybe some consulting, some kind of collaboration, that would be good. Of course, I can't help but to think how that's turned out in the past.
Yeah, you're thinking of the video types, right?
Yeah.
The only one to not get fired was Maud Lee.
Yeah. But like I said, I mean, it's different when you think about it. Like, when you think about it being an HD client, you're like, well, they didn't really have the right to do that. But what if it was for an accessibility purpose or something else? Then you have to ask, well, if the company's not going to do it, then why inhibit someone else that is? So I don't know.
Legal,
probably, and I'm sure it's I don't know. I don't know how they would make money off of it, but maybe they're afraid they're going to make money off of it somehow.
Yeah. And, we just need to be 100% clear here that being a private company, a closed source game, Jagex maintains complete rights to anything that is RuneScape related. And you hope that they're going to have a collaborative discussion behind it, but at the same time, if legal just said to completely shut them down, that would be the answer to it, which would be unfortunate, but it would just have to be accepted at that point. And I think the old school team, is showing a remarkable amount of give and take with this, given the update that they put out, agreeing that, hey, maybe we can make this plugin available until their own version is ready. Because in addition to HD, Jagex says, and I've been paying attention to this, they've actually been working on a number of changes to the old school client in recent months, including moving it to a C++ base over a Java base, bringing in things like mouse over text rather than having that text in the top left corner there. So they've been making some changes on that front.
We get mouse over text and some key binding, then watch out.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get your key binding in action bar, but nonetheless.
Well, I don't need an action bar, just if I could
Right, keybinds to open certain things up and the like. I see. You can find full episodes of RSBANDB Update right here on this YouTube channel. If you found this video useful or just enjoyed it, like and subscribe, or leave a comment.